Hello, and welcome to Film Slam Stream's post-film conversation for Shoebox. My name is Eric Siler, and I'm an instructor of film, media arts, and communications, as well as moderator for this conversation. We're very pleased to be joined by the director of Shoebox, D'Angelo Lewis. D'Angelo Lewis is joining us from California, and he has an interesting journey where he grew up in where survival demands resilience. He faced challenges in his earlier life, and it led to, unfortunately, a decade-long imprisonment. But soon he bounced back, and from bouncing back, he became interested in film. And he transformed into the film industry thanks to a friend who offered him a chance to work on a major project like Black Panther and Space Jam. He has gone on and worked on other productions, such as Judas and the Black Messiah and Creed 2. And now he is into the film festival world in which he's made his own films. So one of the films that we're going to talk about today is Shoebox. So hello, D'Angelo. We'll call you D'Lo, and welcome.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me, man.
It's great to have you here. Very interesting film. Before we started this conversation, I enjoyed speaking with you about how you develop each character really well in this film. But
hmm
this film was probably inspired by, some of your life experiences. Can you elaborate on the inspiration for the film?
well, yes, definitely. I think anything that I create, is inspired by like lived experiences. But this in particular, this was inspired by, my relationship with incarceration and then obviously being free. I actually started the idea started with the scene where the two mirrors were, with the two older James were facing each other. And being on this side of the mirror and also on this side of the mirror, I knew how mirrors have effect on me because like when you look in the mirror, you kind of peel back the layers of what life has laid and you realize how tough you are, how tough you're not, what you've been through, what you haven't been through. You kind of like gotta, be truthful with yourself. And once I started with that scene, I was kind of figuring out how do I get a character up to that point. How do I be the character? They usually tell you to take your character through so much that it gets to a point where, everything boils over. And that was kind of like the inspiration for it. I was like, how do I get a character up to this point? So I start building the story backwards. That was the inspiration of the character arc, the storyline, and how to fully get a character to that point.
So, what did you want people to get out of watching this film?
Um, the main thing was about choices and chances. And I believe, the mother kind of said that she kind of reiterated that, like the choices that you make and the ripple effect they have, not only do they affect you, but they also affect the people around you. And you probably don't notice it until, after the fact.
Okay, exactly. I see. So, when you wrote this film, you developed the characters. One thing that really helped move the story along was the music. Can you tell us a little about that? It seems like it was original music.
Um, uh, it was music that was already made. It was three artists that participated in it. Well, first of all, I shout out to my composer, David DTB Till. He's a very very talented Bay Area producer. Um, and it actually started with the song Michael Millions, "Hard to Be King." It's the song that starts the movie and it also finishes it. Somebody sent me that when I was working on a project, and for some reason I just kept playing it on repeat. And that was sort of like the soundtrack to me writing this entire film. Um, and one thing led to another. When I brought my composer on, we got a song from 22nd Jim, who's also a Bay Area artist. That I know I'm very close with his manager. Just asked him, could I use a song? And then the song where the young man goes, to purchase the gun or whatever, that is my younger brother, Dennis Robinson, aka Foe to the Stove. He had a song that he recorded over like a mixtape beat. And what we did was we kind of, remixed it and made a beat for ourselves. And I kind of used that song. It just spoke volumes to the entire film. And that's kind of like how we got to the music.
So, when you had this film edited and put together, is this how you wanted it to turn out? Because there's just so many layers in this film. You can just listen to the music and get something out of it. You can just focus on the father and get something out of it. You can focus on the mother. You can focus on the son. You can just focus on, just turn the audio off and just focus on the visual effects with the split screen and the mirroring effects. All this coming together to create this, really wonderful piece of work. So is this what you envisioned, or it just came together as you were going along the production process?
As a writer director, you usually are like vision how you want things, on screen, and you kind of like write them like that on the page. And I can literally say it translated perfectly from page to scene. Sometimes even it looked better because sometimes you think your ideas are too far fetched. But when you surround yourself with a bunch of talented people that share the same vision as you, and you kind of and you're able to, clearly state like this is what I'm trying to see, this is what the message I'm trying to convey. Um, it works. It just works. Yeah, I wish I had more money to do certain things, but for the most part, I'll say it transferred very well. Like everything on screen is what I wrote on the page.
Great, great. All right, let's get into the production process. You wrote the
Mhm.
script, and tell us a little bit about the production process. Where did you shoot it? How long did it take to shoot? How did you get your actors and so forth? So walk us through that.
Well, it started the original idea started. I was working on another project, and what happened was I was a cultural consultant at the time, and I was, I guess, the production, like it was my job to hold on to the authenticity of a character or a scene or a moment, and it's production's job to hold on to the production value. And what happened was we were kind of like disagreeing, and I was like, you know what, if I want to make stories that I want to make, I just got to go off and write them on my own. And that was kind of like the birth, the genesis with Shoebox. And once that happened, I started writing. It took me about maybe, I was working, I still have a full-time job. So I was working, outside of work. It took maybe about a little less than a year to get it like fully ready to shoot. And once I brought a producer on, my producer Jamari Perry, and then she brought another guy on named David Hunter Jr., we were off to the races. You know what I mean? We did I raised money, asked, I kind of did it the old school route, just calling friends, calling producers to see who want to be involved in it. And once we got enough money to, shoot principal photography, we got it cracking. And I believe we shot 3 days and then one pickup day. So like maybe 3.5 days total. Production, I mean, I've been on multiple major motion pictures, so all it was like, the thing that I've been through before, but smaller in scale. So, but the funny part about it was I've been a director's assistant, and I've been on scouts, and I've been, in these meetings, and I know what the people are asking of the director. So I was kind of aware of, what the process was going to be like, and it was pretty much that. No matter how, like every project is different. It's always going to be, stress. It's going to be ups and downs, left and right. You're putting out fires, but I was familiar with it, so it wasn't like, oh, this was too much. I was never like really overwhelmed. Um, as far as the characters, I had an amazing casting director, Kirtan Sastry. She basically brought me a bunch of folks, and I just got to pick. And the funny part about it, I learned that I'm best on when I get somebody on Zoom to talk to them about the script and talk to them what I'm thinking, and that's kind of like how I hook, line, and synced them. So it was me just going out, reaching out to folks, and they really felt the story.
Well, great. And the character, I know you said your brother played and had a role in the film. How did you find the other actors? Did you hold auditions or did you know them?
Well, no, no, no. My brother did. He was one of the musicians
Oh,
in the
musicians, I'm sorry.
yeah, he was a
Mhm.
musician. Like for the actors, like my casting director, she'll go get just a ton of folks. Let me pick through, see who has the look. If they have anything I can see that they read for or they acted in, I kind of look through that. It's me just going through a bunch of folks' work and seeing who I like and who might fit the role.
Well, great. Yeah, it was a great job, especially work with the father and the son. Did you
Yeah.
spend, as a director, how did you work with them? Did you just present them the script and just let them run with it? Or were you a type of director that likes to give a lot of intimate details and to the actors?
I think it's a combination of both. And like as a director, you kind of find that lane of which like how much you lean into a certain actor and how much you should let them, do their thing. Because also LaRoyce Hawkins, who played the father, is a very talented actor where he gets so deep in the character, like he wants to know the background, he wants to know the details of how the father got to this point. So me and him had several conversations about like where Pops is at, like in his life, and what he's been through to get to this point. So backstory, character arc was very important. We had conversations about it. So when he came to set, he was already like he knew everything about Pops and why he is who he is and how he is, and that helped him a lot. That helped him get in character a lot. As far as AJ Hudson, who plays James, he was like, I mean, it's not tough working with younger actors. You just don't know what you're going to get until you get on set. And once I got on set, he was just game time. He was ready for anything. He was down for anything. He took directions very well. Over time, once you get familiar with the character, you start taking it on, taking it as your own. And I think that was with AJ. Like once he got comfortable, it was a breeze. We were knocking stuff out left and right.
That's great. Shoebox, where did that title come from?
It was tentative for a minute. Like usually I throw just anything out there just as a placeholder. Um, and and the reason why it stayed is because I realized how important the shoebox was actually to the character. Where I know it's a bunch of cats out there that are very familiar with a Nike shoebox, which can hold you know a bunch of things as you get older. It changes too. And I actually did like a contest or a challenge. I was like, "What's in your shoebox?" And it was crazy what people would like keep in their shoebox, or how it resonated with a lot of young cats my age. That would be like, "Bro, I remember I used to keep my bankroll in my shoebox. I used to keep this and that." Without telling too much, I used to keep other stuff too. So it's like the shoebox became very, very important, and it just kind of like stuck. And I was like, and the thing is, once you start hearing other people say it and how it sounds and how it complements the film, it's just like, it's stuck.
Yeah, it's symbolic as well too, because he felt like he was stuck in the shoebox. His life that he was taking on, and
Yeah,
so forth. Everyone feels trapped in a way. So I like that
yeah.
little symbolic reference there. Um, so tell me, how did you mentioned briefly how you worked on other films and how that helped you with this film. Is there something in particular you took away from a particular film that you incorporated in this film? Like, may work on Black Panther, Creed, um, or
Well,
Judas and Black Messiah.
well, something that I took. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I took everything I learned. You know what I mean? Because I was very privileged to work under someone that was, first of all, a very talented filmmaker, but also a person that pays attention to detail and is very, very he cares a lot about not only the project but also the people, that worked on the project. And I think that goes hand in hand. People tend to forget that people want to work when somebody wants to work for you and wants to come to work, and it's a pleasant environment to work in. You kind of like get the best out of people. And I kind of took that from each project that I worked on with him. I took that and kind of applied it like subconsciously to my project. Um, it was one of those things like paying attention to detail, making sure you get the shots you want. Don't settle. Like this is okay to have be a little OCD-ish. You know what I'm saying? It's filmmaking. If you want something like particular and you want it done a certain way, that's why you have multiple takes. You want to try things and stuff like that. So I think I took attention to detail from
Mhm.
the other films I worked on.
Okay, you mentioned working with him. What person in particular were you talking about?
One of my closest friends, Ryan Coogler,
Okay.
we grew up together, and he kind of pulled me into this industry. So shout out to Coog.
Okay, great, great. And are you two collaborating on have you collaborated on films? Did he work on this film with you?
No, not I mean, I've worked so in around 2019 January. he kind of like asked me if I wanted to be his assistant. His younger brother was his assistant, but he started writing, and so he was moving off his desk, and he asked me if I wanted to, be his assistant. At the time, I'm a little old, and I think I was like 33 at the time, and I was like, nah, I ain't trying to be your assistant, going to get your coffee and dry cleaning. But ultimately, I made an executive decision. I was like, you know what, if this is the second chance at life that is getting presented to me, this opportunity, I have no excuse why I should not take it. And what I did is I became a producer assistant to him on Space Jam: A New Legacy and Judas and the Black Messiah. And then the following project was Wakanda Forever, which I was a director's assistant. I was with him every day. And I actually got the crash course of seeing what a director does, and, on a very, very high level. And it kind of like shaped, because the thing is, I didn't know what I really wanted to do in the film industry. I was just trying to be the best assistant that I could possibly be. But I believe my writing journey started on Creed 3, which well, I guess I'll drop this. Creed 3 is inspired by me and Ryan Coogler's relationship, where one person goes off to prison, then another person, goes and be this humongous thing in Hollywood or whatever. And with that, it gave me like another crash course in like producing, creative writing, and I was able to be like front row seat to I was front row seat to seeing this thing being made, inspired by me, which was pretty dope. And I was like, hey, if somebody can do it about me, I should be able to do it about myself. And ultimately, I earned like an associate producer credit on Creed 3. And at the same time, I was moving up the ranks. I became a CE in this production company, but I also started writing at that time. So that was that was kind of like a pivotal moment in movie in my career.
That's great, especially that getting that DA position. That's really, really great uh, to do that and your career too. Um,
Mhm.
Something I wanted to ask two things I want to ask you before I have to wrap up here. One is what's been the response like? What has the response been like to Shoebox?
Um, like I was telling Gabrielle earlier, it's like you make these films like a year ago or times ago. The delayed gratification comes when everybody gets to see it. You know what I mean? So for a long period of time, I had Shoebox and it was just quiet. Nobody knew nothing, no, nothing. But I was like, I got this work that when I share it, I want people to take some away from it, but also be entertained. And you kind of battle with that. But what I figured is like, okay, just focus on making a great story. And once you make a great story, people kind of tend to gravitate towards it. And I've been seeing the response to it has been insane, because the biggest response, people was like, hey, that's my story. That's my story. And when I hear that, I'm like, okay, I think I did my job. You know what I mean? So I made something relatable, something compelling, something that people look at and realize like, I that's a lived experience that I have as well. And that's kind of like the community experience that you have when you go watch a film that everybody can relate to, but it's not filled with a bunch of cliches and bunch of stereotypes where it's like, you know, degrading us as a people and whoever us may be, but showing like there's a message within it. You know what I'm saying? So that's been the biggest like thing for me, is just people talking about how much they relate to it and how much, hey, I've been through that just like that. And that's what does it for me.
Right. What's next for you? You're working on a project now, and can you share that with us? And another question I want to throw in as well too is, do you have any particular aspirations to actually, direct a major production, Hollywood production?
Yeah, yeah. So the first one, what's next? So I have this project called Announcements, which is inspired by my lived experience again, which like right now I feel like, they always say write what you know, write what you know. Like that's kind of like exactly how I'm diving into this. Like I have this bag of experiences and I'm gonna just keep digging into it until I run out. And I mean, whenever that happens, that happens. But Announcements is inspired by my high school experience, which basically during morning announcements, they used to announce who lost their lives over the weekend. And not knowing how traumatic of an experience that was until now, and me being a storyteller now, I was trying to figure out how do I tell a story around that without being too exploitative and leaning heavy on trauma. So I created a story about a young lady and a young man who are based in LA, but the man is a barrier transplant, and the young lady has family members that live a street life. And I created a story 3 consecutive Mondays where death gets closer and closer to the young lady. But the twist is the young man from the Bay Area gets blamed for those murders. So his whole goal is to kind of like clear his name in a sense. And it's a story about, it's a cautionary tale about how association can bring incrimination. And so we're dealing with, the things that these young teenagers are going through right now. As of like, it's crazy how I see the same thing that was happening to me in high school is happening on a, I won't even say it's happening on a higher scale, but the thing is, it's so televised, it's so, social media and phones, you see people getting murdered, and we're so numb to the fact. It's like, it's insane. So I created a story around that, and hopefully, it resonates just like Shoebox.
Well, well, great. I'm looking forward to seeing that as well too. Well, this has been a great conversation. D'Angelo Lewis, D'Lo, director of Shoebox. I wish you all the best and congratulations on all your success.
Nah, thank you for having me. I love what you guys are doing over there. Congratulations on you guys as well. So thank you for having me.
And thank you to our audience for joining us for this important and invigorating conversation. For more information about our upcoming events, please visit us at clevelandfilm.org. I'm Eric Siler. Thank you.